Yes.
We should just do a whole shoot.
Can we have a month for Francis? A stock image
It's
of
just
a
a
rat.
stock image.
It has like a shutter images.
No, we just get Ratatouille and we put it up.
Oh shit! A rat!
This station is This is the train to the next station is Oddly Untouched.
Oh, that was a hay. He threw a hay in there. All right, speaking of hay, Outcast
Oh!
podcast. Let's get this started.
Wow!
Now we have to. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Wild Cards podcast. Before we check in with the boys, my name is Alec, and when I go to Taco Bell, I usually get a number 9, which is the crunch wrap, and the hard taco, and it comes with a large drink, which is always a Baja Blast. However, I'm not a big hard taco guy. Like, I don't really like the hard shells. They're kind of bland. So I just turn that into a soft taco and, eat that towards the end. And then I get an additional 2 nachos cheese Dorito Locos tacos. And then usually that's it for me unless I'm feeling really hungry. And then I'll add in a loaded griller. What about you, Condor?
Yeah, so I'm Connor, and my Taco Bell order, it's pretty simple. We get 2 beefy nacho loaded grillers, and on top of that we're going 2 cheesy gordita crunches. But the secret to the cheesy gordita crunch, you always have to get it with the nacho cheese shell.
Wow.
And I'm not a big ranch guy, so I take the spicy ranch sauce out of there, and then, we're good to go. That's it.
Nick here. I think I just threw up in my mouth like 8 times. I don't get Taco Bell because I'm not disgusting. The spicy ranch thing did actually sound good to me, but the last time I went to a Taco Bell in Boston was probably like 6 years ago, and when I went, I enjoyed the Doritos Locos tacos, I guess. So I'll go with like 3 Doritos Locos tacos, I guess, 1 of each flavor.
It's a number 10.
That's number 10.
Yeah. What about you, Noah?
What's up, guys? It's Noah, and my favorite restaurant, and it is a restaurant, is Taco Bell. And when I go, I do get 3 soft taco supremes. I do go for the crunchy gordita crunch. Cheesy gordita crunch with the nacho cheese shell, and then I like to get a crunch wrap supreme. And you cannot forget the Baja Blast.
Yeah.
Every single one of those item names sounded completely made up.
And it's
But-
all the
literally
same
the same
ingredients.
thing.
That's why Taco Bell is one of the best restaurants. Is because they take
Their
the
business
same
model.
their business models. They take the same 6 ingredients and they turn it into 70 menu items.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unreal. It's
Yeah.
unreal.
What an incredible
Speaking
establishment.
of food, there was a special guy in the news this week, wasn't there?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I hope everybody's having a good week, but I know one person that is certainly not having a good week. We're not going to mention his name because
No one knows it.
1, I forgot it, and 2, I don't want him coming after us. But there was
5 foot nothing YouTube legend Bagel Boss.
so there was an incident in a Bagel Boss in Bayshore, which is
Home and native, boy.
home and native Long Island, 10 minutes from my house. Actually, I've been to Bagel Boss, subpar bagels, but okay. And he just went on a rant. I mean, everybody's seen this video. It has millions and millions of views on every social media possible. But my thing is, I'm from Long Island. I've bought a lot of bagels in my life. Usually there's not much conversation when you're waiting
I don't
for
understand.
a bagel. I don't know what someone could have possibly said to this dude that pissed him off that
How
bad.
tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Not you. That's what they said to him.
No, I just want to know, I want to know what happened in this guy's past. Someone must
He
have
was
just,
asked how tall
no,
he is.
someone must have just
Did
shattered.
you guys watch this video with
Yeah.
audio? Because all of your questions were answered in the video.
No,
no,
but I'm
there-
talking about, there's clearly someone that just absolutely shattered this guy's
the
life.
woman on the dating site.
Yeah, no, and they had a News 12 Long Island report. They interviewed him outside
Yeah, I
of the
saw
Bagel
that.
Boss. He's divorced. He's living in his car because
Yeah.
his
Well,
cleaning
'cause his
company went
company-
under. I mean, this guy's just having a terrible year. And
He's 5
he's
foot
not
nothing.
growing anymore.
No.
So what a rough week for this guy. I mean, hopefully things go better and he
But also
enjoyed
he's
the
a
bagel
dick,
at least.
So
Yeah,
he's definitely not the nicest guy.
I think I love in the aftermath, because there was a second part to the video that no one saw where it's after it all happened and he got taken down, where he was he just threw his bagel on the ground and he was like, forget it, I'm out of here, but then did a double take
And then
back
he
and grabbed the
Grab the
bagel.
bagel. You don't throw Long Island bagels on the
No.
ground if you've ever had a Long Island bagel. So, we have a top 5 this week. We're throwing the top 5 right at the beginning of the pod. This week's category for the top 5 is childhood games. So a little bit of nostalgia here for everybody listening and for the 4 of us. we all culminated a list of our top 5 games that we used to play as kids, whether that be during recess or on the weekends with your friends. So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I mean, you want to go first now?
Yeah, I'll go first.
This does not include like video games.
Yeah, no,
right?
we
That
had
was a stipulation?
we had ground rules that video games did not count in this
Yeah,
list.
this wasn't including video games. This wasn't including sports, because then we all just be, hockey, baseball, soccer, basketball. And I feel like that could be a completely different top 5 list.
Yeah.
So this is just, tag, hide and seek,
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Yeah.
Things that you would play in your leisure time growing
Yeah.
up. So Noah, why don't you take it away?
All right, number 5 had to go with a classic, which I bet if we tried to pull one of these games off now, I think we would still also have a blast. Capture the Flag.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Also, being older, I think we could definitely come up with different strategies than when we were 9 years old. But Capture Flag is just a great game of strategy, great game of just always getting that rush. Number 4, I went with more of a board game instead of a physical game. Had to go with Monopoly.
Wow.
Classic.
Yeah, that's a
Classic.
good one.
I've tried to play Monopoly in the present. I'm not as good as I was when I was younger, and it's probably why my spending habits are probably terrible. I bought hotels on everything that I had. Number 3, which I don't think anybody else is going to have this on there, Red Light, Green Light, 1, 2, 3.
Wow, that's a classic.
Really?
game.
Very
Yeah.
good game. Very
That's
good
Really?
a
game.
classic, but that's
That game's kind of just like boring to me. What the where you like
I mean,
you
that
like
would-
run and then they say red light and you
Yeah.
stop.
Well, that
Yeah.
was an
Wow.
early.
well, they turn
childhood
around.
game.
They would
I
like
guess that was really
That was an early.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
I wasn't playing that game when I was in
15.
late. Yeah,
But still,
I
we're talking childhood games. When I was
Alright, fair
young,
enough.
Red Light, Green Light, you played that for hours.
And what spot? That was 3?
That was number 3.
Wow.
Lots of nostalgia with that game.
Okay.
that is a very nostalgic game.
Number 2, probably the biggest party game when we were younger, I would
Pong.
say. I don't think so.
Jumanji.
No, number 2, when the night came, the sun went down,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't see anything in front of you, everyone would start shouting Manhunt.
Yeah.
No matter where you were, I remember we used to play Manhunt at the Little League fields all the time, and that's a huge facility, and you could just run around, and it was fun games.
Is that where people hide?
Yeah,
and
it's
you find
Manhunt.
them?
So it's
So there's
dark
a
out.
base and a jail.
So you hide, and there's like 1 or 2 people that are trying to
So
find
it's werewolf.
We played this freshman year.
It's werewolf.
We
right?
played this freshman
Yeah.
year. I
Okay.
remember
Yeah.
we all,
It's werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it now.
we had a giant game of Manhunt on
Yes,
the
we
entire
did.
Mercy
That was
College
fun.
campus.
So that was number 2.
Number 2.
Bring it home.
Number 1. Every weekend, you'd be at the Little League fields. I had to try to split some baseball into this, and this is probably why I was a really good baseball player when I was young.
Humble brag.
Humble brag.
Humble brag. I was a good player, and then I started growing up, and I was subpar.
You were great till the end, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pickle.
Yeah, fun game.
Pickle. Every weekend I'd be playing pickle, and it'd be
What about wall ball?
wall ball, also fun one. But pickle, I was able
Pickle
to
was
work
good.
on fast hands. I was able to work on rundowns, and it's a
Yeah.
fun little game. I remember we were playing pickle, and I hit this kid straight in the back of the head,
Oh.
and he went
With
down
a baseball?
quick with a baseball.
Oh my god.
It was not a pretty sight.
And that's when Noah knew he was a pitcher.
Yeah, and I went down to pitching and became a D2 athlete, and then stopped. But yeah, Nick, how about you?
Yeah, so the first one that I have on this list is actually one we can play right here in the stew, and that is knee hockey. A lot of fun,
Wow.
a lot of fun just decking my brother and his friends in our basement, going after each other on our knees to score in that little net. I had a lot of good times in knee hockey. Number 4, I guess you guys call it manhunt. I always called it werewolf, but like Noah said, sun goes down, nighttime with all the friends, getting eaten alive by mosquitoes in your
Oh,
hiding
God.
places, just having a ton of fun running. And because the way we played, when the werewolf passed someone or saw someone, they would scream werewolf, and everyone would have to get back to base. And so hearing that person scream werewolf was just like the most adrenaline invigorating thing ever. So werewolf was my number 4. Number 3, absolute classic, barbecue necessity, kickback necessity, wiffle ball. It's something that everyone could play, even if they weren't the greatest baseball or softball player, and it was just a lot of fun. Number 2, Noah had it as well. I think he underrated it at number 5, but capture the flag. Strategic game, war basically as kids, building the chains to get out of jail when you had like one person or a couple people left and you had to make that jail run, like so much fun. My first one, I don't know if you guys will actually know it, because it might have been a game that my friends and I invented. I know that there is a game that people play that's similar to what we played, but we call it Speedball, which is where you can, like, kick it, but you can also kick it up to yourself and stuff. We played it with, like, a slight variation in some rules, including that the way we played it was full tackle.
Oh.
So we had a ton of fun, because we had a huge like, field in my neighborhood, and there were soccer goals in the field. So we just had a ton of fun trying to score on each other and just full tackling each other. Probably got a few minor concussions without knowing it during that game, but man, was it a ton of fun. So that takes my number one.
So you could, like, kick the ball on the ground as if it was a soccer ball, and then kind of just use your foot to scoop it up into your hands.
Yes.
And you could pass it,
That's
right?
with your hands.
Yeah.
That's Gaelic football.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
Speedball.
Okay. All right. Ireland would probably disagree there, but yeah. All right, so I'll go with mine. Number 5, an all-time classic. Just a nice little game of kickball.
Sure.
There was nothing better than a game of kickball, and how
Apparently
rewarding.
there were 4 things better than a game of kickball.
There are 4 things better than a game of kickball.
Correction.
There was nothing more rewarding than stepping up to home plate, getting ready to kick, and just hearing everyone in the field just yell, "Everyone back up!" I mean,
Probably
I didn't.
something that Connor never heard.
I was about to say I don't know what that felt like because
Yeah, I was a everybody move up kid.
yeah, I was like just
If I hit the pitcher's mound, it was a good
My,
kick.
my signature move, the bunt.
And then my number 4, it's kind of a combination. I think me and my friends might have also invented this game. We called it Challenge. It was a spin-off of handball. So what we would do is instead of bouncing the ball on the ground, we would just overhand throw it. And we would always give each other 3 outs. If you caught the ball like a fly ball that someone threw, they were out. If the ball brushed up against them, they had to sprint to the wall.
That's
and
wall ball.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Or we called it Challenge.
Yeah, it's wall ball.
Is that what it's actually called?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we played. A lot of fun. That was our go-to game of choice at recess. Number 3, I also went with a board game, but a different board game. Sorry.
Wow, good
Fun
game.
one.
Sorry that was a good game. I love playing Sorry all the time.
Right when you said that, I could already hear the little, like, popping of the dice. When you had
Wait,
it,
no,
like,
that's trouble. That's trouble.
That's trouble?
It's
Sorry
same,
is the
same
one-
game. Same exact game,
Right?
but with a
Yeah.
die instead of cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2, Capture the Flag.
Yep.
Classic game, you know. And then number 1, I think we're all in somewhat of a consensus here. Manhunt.
Yeah, Manhunt's definitely up there. For
So Werewolf / Manhunt and Capture the Flag have appeared on all 3 of our lists so far.
Yeah.
Sounds like we got some games to play.
and it looks like both of them are going 4 for 4, but they're
Wow.
all up there on me. So number 5 for me. Nobody else had this one. It is a children's / high school, middle school game during gym. You played it all the time, especially if it was a rain day and you had to stay inside. However, it also is a professional sport. There's like national and international tournaments for dodgeball.
Mm-hmm.
Also a fantastic
Great movie. Yeah.
Just quick, rest in peace, Rip Torn.
Yes.
Patches
Yep.
O'Houlihan.
Yeah.
Like 2
Rest
or
in
3 days
peace.
ago. What a great
Yep.
role he played. And
Yep.
classic character in
He was
dodgeball.
instrumental in getting the Average Joes their first dodgeball championship.
Yeah, but then that giant Hallmark card just took him out, you know?
Hate to see it.
Hate
Yeah.
to see it.
Coming into my number 4 spot, nobody else had this. This is actually a pretty popular game from before we were born. This was an older game that my parents used to play, but then they kind of passed it on to the second generation. Spud.
I loved Spud.
Spud is a
Another one.
fantastic
I
game.
loved Spud.
I'm not going to walk through all the rules, but pretty much it was like categories, but you got to peg balls at people,
Yeah.
which made it 1,000 times
Oh,
better.
okay.
If you haven't played Spud, definitely look into it, especially if you're 19, 20, because I can guarantee it's 1,000 times more fun now. Coming in at number 3, Capture the Flag.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, I'm not even going to go into it because we've said so much about Capture the Flag. Just you knew it was going to be a good day in gym when you walked outside and the cones were set up as jail and base.
Oh,
and,
yes.
oh my god, it was such an adrenaline rush as a 7-year-old. And then coming in my number 2 spot, Manhunt. Like I said, I'm not going to go into Manhunt again, but I was always a really good hider. Great hider. I mean, I would just climb trees, whatever I had to do. I was
Wow.
really good at hiding. Number 1, thank you, Nick, for including this. I did not think anybody else would have this. Mini hockey. Grew up playing mini hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot tell you how many things I broke in my living room growing up. How many vases were
We
falling
kept ours
off
in
the
the basement
mantles.
for sure.
How many pictures fell out of the entertainment center. And every hockey tournament, every kid would bring a mini hockey stick and just play in the hallway of whatever
Yeah.
hotel you were in. It's just great game. We play it here, literally in our room. We have mini hockey. We're staring at it right now. It doesn't get old. We still play every day. So there you have it, folks.
I have one thing. One of them was an honorable mention for me, but I'm surprised that no one else had it. Mission Impossible.
Don't know
You guys
that
ever
one.
played Mission
I
Impossible?
did not know that.
Are those Tom Cruise movies?
Okay, yes. But,
Copyright.
so what it was is like you would be in gym class and like you know how like you just had like hula hoops, you had balls, you had just everything around. So what you had to do was you had to not let yourself touch the ground.
Yeah. I know that. Yeah.
And then another one was Ultimate Frisbee, which I kind of want to talk to you guys.
That's not
Frisbee.
I kind of want
Is
to
that
see
really
if we
a
can.
childhood game though.
I mean, I played it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
technically.
I think that would be fun if we made it an intramural sport here.
That would be fun.
We
I'd
were
be down.
in the talks about it, but I think just because
It's pretty similar to football.
I think
Probably
it's just
same
because it was
season.
like winter, like dead of winter, we couldn't get something set up. But
I think that would be fun. You know, if you guys are Mercy people and you guys want to do Ultimate Frisbee, let us know. Maybe we can try to get the ball moving on that and maybe make it
Get the
intramural.
frisbee moving on that.
Get the
Yeah.
frisbee moving on that. Now, we've talked about childhood games, but we move into adulthood and we start to experience the finer things in life. And one of those things is VR, as our apartment has learned recently. We just got an Oculus. Shout out Nathan Rogers for that. And Tuesday, I just want to. This is a quick story time for all of you listeners. Tuesday, come home from work. Long day of work, so I just want to unwind, and I come into Connor and Alex's room where the Oculus is, and I'm like, let me hop on. They're like, okay. So Alex playing Xbox, which is right next to the Oculus. Connor's hanging out. Noah's hanging out. And I throw on the headset, and it pops up a game that I haven't played before. And I'm like, oh, let me try it out. So I throw it on, and the game, basically, the idea is that your body doesn't move, and time won't move as long as you don't move your hands as well.
which side note, I made that very clear to you.
Connor
before you
did
started.
tell me that. And so you use your hands to, like punch or shoot the enemies and, like, grab their guns. Like, the goal is to grab the guns to then shoot the other enemies, so you have to use your hands to do it. And so I hop in, and I'm, like, very confused about this for my first round. Like, very confused. I just completely forget. And let me tell you what, if you haven't experienced VR, it's very much like reality. The R is true. So I'm in the game, and I kill the first guy, and
After rolling around on the ground.
yes, I had no idea what was happening. I was reaching everywhere trying to grab stuff, but I finally got a guy, and then I got the other one, and then the third guy was like much in the distance, but I was out of bullets in the guns that I have, didn't have anything else to throw, so I was like, oh shoot, gotta go get that guy's gun. Now, if you know anything about our room, the Oculus is set up next to Connor's computers, which are right underneath an overhang that comes up pretty quickly. And so I'm standing in front of his computers, and I'm like, oh crap, gotta get that gun all the way in front of me. And so I just charge head first into the ceiling, knocked over, on the ground. All of us are laughing, crying. And that is the first part of this story, because it only gets better from there. I pick myself back up. I say, you know what? I got this. I'm going to figure this out. And I do. I got pretty good at it. I cleared a couple stages. Then I come to this new stage, and I'm like, all right, I get through the first couple sections, and then I get thrown down in a room where it doesn't look like there's anybody around me, so I'm kind of looking around. Remember, Alec is to my left playing Xbox, so I'm looking around,
And when we say,
minding his own business.
When we say to his left, within 2 feet.
Yeah. So I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing, like, what do I do in this level? And I turn and look to my left, and there's a guy in the game literally, like, an inch from my face. And I'm like, oh, expletive, there's a guy. And so if you don't have a gun in your hands, which I didn't, you gotta punch the guy. So what I do is with my left hand, come around clean across, straight to the guy, and also straight to the back of Alex's head. I hear an, oh, dude. And I
hit him.
I'm telling you what, it's exactly like reality. I swear I hit the guy for real. Like, it was crazy.
It feels like I actually hit someone.
I haven't seen Alec like that genuinely upset about something in a long time. Like, he was...
Slowhead.
He was pissed off.
Which I couldn't see because I had the headset on, but I was like, "Oh, did I hit you, man? Sorry." Like, I made solid contact.
Yeah,
He goes, oh man, sorry. Goes into the next stage right away and starts playing
I had
again.
to finish the game, man. I was on a mission.
I think if we've taken a toll on how many injuries there have been in the Oculus since we've gotten it, and it's been about a week now. I've seen Alec get hurt the most without the headset on. Just people coming at him. I don't know if it's just like his positioning is bad when people are in it, or just people are just like they just get into the game so much that, I mean, like you said, it's reality. It really is.
Yeah. The moral is no more VR for me.
Yeah.
Well, no more VR for Nick. I want to talk about what another person, Jon Jones, should be having no more of. You know, Jon Jones, notorious UFC fighter, and I don't know if you guys are huge on UFC. I'm a big fighting fan, you know, huge Conor McGregor fan all the way. Jon Jones, really bad track record of testing positive for PEDs.
And cocaine.
And cocaine, yeah. Now,
Who was on crack?
Now, the UFC, for those of you who don't know, a couple of years ago, it's probably going back maybe 5 years now, brought in this new drug association called USADA, which...
You son of...
That was all right. Now, pretty much, USADA oversees all the drug tests that go on. So the fighters, obviously, there's a lot of cutting weight that has to happen. So right before the weigh-ins, they have to take drug tests. After the fights, they have to take drug tests and everything. Jon Jones has failed 3 drug tests in the past 4 years.
Wow.
Now, these are all, and I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but they all have to do with him fighting Daniel Cormier, DC, arguably his biggest opponent. These two have had beef going back since 2014. These guys have not liked each other. They always have huge build-up for the fights, and Jon Jones has come out on top in the 2 times that they've actually fought. They were supposed to fight back at UFC 200, but Jon Jones tested positive for steroids right beforehand. Fight got canceled. Year later, the fight gets rebooked. Jon Jones wins, and then a month later, tests positive for steroids again. Now, I want to know what's your guys' opinion on that? You know, your whole your career is fighting, and if you've been caught 3 times using performance enhancement drugs, like this guy, Jon Jones, literally last week just fought for the title. Like he was defending his title and won. Like I don't know what you guys think.
So in my opinion, I don't really get fighting. It seems primitive to me, and I don't really find the entertainment in it. Like, I don't get it at all, and I don't know anything about any of the leagues. But I like this guy, because he's got the same name as Martian Manhunter, so I'm Team Jon Jones.
I don't really watch UFC, so I don't know much about it, but I'm going to try to relate it more to baseball. So if someone tests positive for PEDs, they get an 80... They get... Alright, but let's say someone who is playing in active right now, they get an 80-game suspension, which is about half the year. Mm-hmm. So what that kind of does is, like, it makes them flush it out of their system, and they have to get more regular drug tests than everybody else. So they still get to play. I mean, a big, opinion right now is if Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame or not.
Nope.
Things like that. But, I mean, it's kind of just like that. I honestly don't see a problem with it just because, I mean, all other sports are doing it. If he tested positive for it, he doesn't get to fight. He loses out on that money. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's his own fault. But, I mean, if he's going to come back and test clean later, I think he should be able to fight.
But do you think when he comes back right after failing a drug test, it should be for an immediate title shot?
Did he pass one before the title?
Well, he just, from this title defense, we haven't heard anything from it, so I'm assuming he passed.
Okay.
But it's only been 2 weeks, so... Well, I mean, we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the point where I start to argue with the UFC's decision.
Yeah.
And if you have a guy that has a track record of 3 failed drug tests for steroids, and it's in a sport which is, like Nick said, very primitive. It's just 1v1 literal fist fight. I think that I feel like steroids in UFC kind of have more of an impact than other sports, as ridiculous as that sounds, because they have an impact whenever someone uses them. Mm-hmm. But should he be kicked out of the UFC? No, because I guarantee he's not the only one doing it.
No, he's not the only one doing it, and it's also the issue of the amount of money this guy brings in for his fights, too, is unreal. So I understand.
So he obviously... Dana White and the UFC obviously want to keep him around because he is a main event caliber fighter. Yeah. But at the same time, the fact that he comes back from failing a drug test and his next fight is for the championship, I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think there has to be a penalty or a suspension or some sort of, discipline when it comes to the fighters returning from failing drug tests, because, I mean, why not do it at that point? If you're going to come back and miss a couple fights, that's just more rest time for Jon Jones for his title shot. So that's kind of my opinion on that. I'm not really sure what Dana White or the UFC are going to do about it because, like I said, I can guarantee he's not the only one that's doing it. You know, you look at some of these dudes that are fighting, especially the heavyweights, and they're just not human. You know, they're ridiculously big dudes. So it's something that the UFC has to crack down on. And for Jon Jones, especially with his cocaine scandal and everything else that's happened to him, hasn't been the nicest dude. But definitely the UFC has to crack down on that. Welcome back, folks. Well, speaking of food from earlier, and the one person who has an unpopular opinion in the room to begin with is Nick Schramm and his dislike of the number one Mexican restaurant in the nation.
Yeah.
So now Nick is going to hit us with some more unpopular food opinions.
Right. So obviously, as you said, we already know that my first opinion from this podcast that Taco Bell is utter garbage is unpopular amongst you guys. But I'm going to hit you with 3 unpopular opinions real quick and see if you get agree or disagree. So the first one is that rhubarb is far and away the best vegetable.
Disagree.
Which I know we don't eat a lot of vegetables in this house, I will say.
I eat broccoli all the
You eat a
time.
lot of broccoli.
All right.
A lot of frozen broccoli.
Steam fresh.
Steam fresh.
All
Okay,
right.
now, my thing with
Can I just say something real
rhubarb.
quick? What is a rhubarb?
I've only experienced it in pies.
Which is strawberry rhubarb pie is one of the best pies.
Yeah, it's very good. But
Rhubarb's a tart. You know, you might say almost not sour, but almost sour.
almost like cranberry-ish.
Almost cranberry-ish, but tart vegetable grows in the ground, just in stalks.
It grows
people
in the
cut
ground?
it up. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it grew from the sky. Okay. Just want to clarify that it was
All right.
ground,
Some natural things grow from trees, but
which is rooted in the ground.
anyway.
Gotcha.
Point proven.
Okay. Still disagree, but it's a delicious vegetable, very easy to maintain as well. You really don't have to do much with it. It'll kind of sprout up every year, almost like a weed.
Do
I
you
think.
grow your own rhubarb?
My mom does.
Oh,
So,
wow, okay.
Mom,
So-
if you are listening and I was wrong about how you grow rhubarb, please feel free to.
She's like, no, it's from the
message me.
sky. It's
I meant the root part about how it grows back every year. Maybe she does a great job maintaining it. If she does, then shout out her because that rhubarb is delicious every year. But
So-
let's see, agree or disagree. It sounds like you guys.
Where are you eating this though? Is you just eating
I
a
eat it
ton
straight.
of pie? Wow,
I eat
wow.
it straight, but also strawberry rhubarb pie is great. A lot of people eat it with, I think, sugar. Honestly, a lot of people just throw like sugar in a bag and scoop it up. But yeah, I love it straight.
Yeah, personally, I disagree just because of the fact that I have not had enough rhubarb experience to say otherwise. I can't really tell you what the best vegetable is because I think they're all kind of on the same playing field.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's unpopular. Huge broccoli guys. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna say celery is the best.
Oh, so
Oh,
bland.
celery.
Rhubarb is literally actually like celery that has a flavor.
But celery's better.
What? No.
Celery and peanut butter.
Celery has one purpose, and it's to be on the side of a plate of wings.
yeah,
Right,
Just
yeah,
no one
yes.
touches.
Yeah,
Yes.
just so you think you're eating healthy.
All right, so unpopular is the first one. The second one, you guys will know this food. Ice cream that is vanilla or fruit-based, and I do mean ice cream, isn't worth mentioning.
Okay,
It's
ice
chocolate-based, peanut butter-based, something like that, or
cream, ice
bust.
cream that is vanilla based,
Or fruit-based. Is
fruit
not.
based as in like strawberry,
Yeah,
or what other fruit?
cherry, blackberry.
Cherry. Okay, I see where this is coming from. So, I personally like vanilla because I feel like vanilla is the base for a lot of good.
Okay.
There's a lot you could do with vanilla. Just throw chocolate in there, peanut butter cups in there, cookies and cream is vanilla.
Yeah.
But you can do all that with chocolate, and it's so much better.
Yes, I agree with you on that. But more of the original and classic flavors have the vanilla in it. Don't get me wrong. I'm agreeing with you just because I do like chocolate ice cream with those things better than
Okay.
just regular vanilla.
So I've got like one mostly agree,
Yeah.
one disagree.
I'll go mostly agree.
Oh,
I
mostly
think that
agree. So
all
vanilla,
fruit-
you would eat vanilla with stuff, but you would prefer.
Yeah, I could live without any fruit-based ice cream.
Yeah.
I was never a fan of strawberry ice cream, or
Yeah.
I hate anything with cherry in it unless it's an actual
Really?
cherry. So
You don't like cherry
I will
Coke?
say like a
Cherry
chocolate
Coke, no.
raspberry
Wow,
froyo
that's
combination is bomb, but like raspberry ice cream, no. So Connor, what do you think?
I love strawberry ice cream. I really do. No other fruit ice cream does it for me, but
Strawberry.
I really like strawberry ice
See,
cream.
like, what's it called? The one that comes with 3?
Neapolitan.
Neapolitan. 2/3 of that is garbage to me. Like
2/3 of it?
Yeah,
The vanilla
vanilla.
one?
Oh,
strawberry.
yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So it sounds like I've got some supporters on that one. My third and final one is that turkey and pork are a disgrace to the rest of meat.
Wow. Okay. I think you may have some traction here with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, turkey and pork.
Now, are we talking like turkey, Thanksgiving turkey, or cold cut turkey?
Pretty much any turkey, especially cold cut turkey. But Thanksgiving turkey, the only good part is like the outer, the skin. It's the only part that has flavor.
I'll agree with you on the turkey part of it because I'm really not a turkey guy. Yeah, I would prefer on Thanksgiving a ham, Christmas ham, and I'd prefer that. But I love some pork chops. So
when you say pork, does that mean like pork chops?
No,
or
literally like pork chops. Like ham is great, bacon's great, but like pork chops, like pork, like tenderloin or something like that, like trash.
Okay, well I'm a vegan anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Noah.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
All right, fair enough.
Dark meat turkey is great, and also pulled pork. I mean, you can't go wrong with pulled pork.
I have no
sandwich.
problem with the Thanksgiving turkey. Like
Yeah.
when it's there, I really would. I prefer a filet mignon, yes.
Yeah.
But do I think that the Thanksgiving turkey, bird in the middle of the table? I think that
My
filet mignons
like
are kind of
my Thanksgiving plate is literally like 3 slices of turkey and then like 5 pounds of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that's
but
accurate.
anyway,
Are
seems
you
like
a
most
stuffing
of,
guy or no?
No.
No.
No one's a stuff. What about you, Noah?
Oh, I love stuffing.
Stuffing's great.
No, I
Stuffing
don't
is
like stuffing.
fantastic.
No.
I got you on that one.
Looks like we're split on that one, but the rest of mine were apparently unpopular, so we can move on. Comment down below. Did you agree or disagree?
All right, we're going to hand this over to Noah for a little bit. We're going to have a quick discussion about the Alexa, which we have one right now, and she might chime in any second.
No, I have her muted, thank
Oh,
goodness.
thank God.
Yeah, we actually have 3 Alexas in the house right now. And I think one problem that everyone kind of has with the Alexas are they actually recording us? So are they recording when we say those wake words like, hey Alexa or hey Google? So are these companies actually recording what we're saying?
I mean, it's common knowledge that they are, because you can turn off in your settings, I don't want my recordings transcripted. And, I don't see a problem with that. Like, I will say that I work for a data company, and I think the big thing about data is that if it's opt-in, then the consumer has no right to argue with it. I mean, if you click that button or don't unclick the button that says, I want my data to be shared and used, then that's on you. And I think that data can be used and utilized in a great way that can really enhance our lives. So I have absolutely no problem with it. And if you do, just turn it off. If they're still recording after that, if they're still using your data after that, then you've got a problem. But just opt out.
Not only like just turn it off, but if you seriously have that much of a concern or an issue thinking that it's recording what you say all the time, don't buy it.
Yeah, just don't.
Plain and simple.
I mean, you don't
buy
need
it.
one.
Exactly.
Like, they're not.
Like
It's common knowledge that it's always listening to you because
Yeah.
it has to hear when you say, hey Alexa or
Right.
hey Google. So
Yeah, like,
obviously
it's-
I
we
always
have
listening.
the mute function on it now, so it doesn't wake up when we say "Hey Alexa." But I imagine it's still listening to us as we speak. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I don't really care.
No, me neither.
I feel like it's just the way that technology is going. We all carry around smartphones in our pocket,
Yeah.
and it's been proven that they listen to you too. And there's been a lot of people that have posted like videos on YouTube, and they'll turn their phones off. They'll lock their phones and start talking about like cat food if they've never even searched cat food before, and then within a day they're scrolling down Facebook and cat food ads pop up.
Yeah, I mean, I want to have a point onto that. So we did the Enactus competition last year, and a part of our speech was talking about how one of the team members' family worked at Carl's Jr., and for 4 months straight, I was getting nonstop advertisements for Carl Jr., so...
But I mean, like that, like sometimes you see that and you're like, oh, that's annoying. You're like, oh, that's funny. Like I would never go to Carl's Jr. But like a lot of times that can be really helpful.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy shoes and I like buying shoes, and so if I'm looking at some shoes on Nike or whatever, and then I see some advertisements for other ones, and maybe some of them are on sale, like that could be really useful to me. Maybe I see a pair that I definitely want to pick up. So I think it can really enhance our lives. And if it doesn't, if you don't like that, just opt out. Or as Connor said, just don't buy one because it's certainly not a necessity of life. In the Alexa case, in the phone case, that kind of a different story here. But if it comes to companies overstepping or the government overstepping, then it's an issue. But otherwise, I don't know. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, so while I was researching this topic, I learned that Google and Amazon have been using these third-party contractors to be able to transcribe this data that they're getting from these different products. And about 0.5% of these recorded data is actually being transcribed, which is a very small amount. But there's also lots of these devices in many houses,
That's
and
still a huge.
it's still a very large sample size. And it's been documented that some of these recordings have had addresses and names of these certain people that these products are in. And although these companies are claiming that they're telling these contractors, hey, you can only transcribe what is directed straight at the Google Assistant or at the Alexa, they're still picking up different audio from maybe some background talk or maybe what's on the TV or things like that. So one thing that I have is that I know Amazon wants to get rid of wake words. Like, they want to get rid of being able to say Alexa. So they're going to be recording at all times to be able to hear what Alexa, is needed for. So if they're constantly listening after these wake words, that was one problem that I had. That, like, yes, I have my own Alexa, and, like, listen, I'm a data guy. I'm a data analytics major. Data is really what drives what I'm going to do when I grow up. But there's a certain, there's a certain threshold with what if these contractors get hacked? Because although these might be on databases at Google or Amazon, these contractors will also have it. And they might not have as big security as Amazon and Google has. So people can still get this data, especially with addresses and names coming out. It was just a big deal that I think Google and Amazon kind of have to... they got to take action on it.
I kind of think it's one of those things that we won't know till we know.
Yeah, we won't know till we know, and then it's going to be the issue where there's going to be some privacy laws dropped about it.
I think we won't know until something goes wrong.
Exactly.
I think we won't know until something does get hacked.
Yeah, and then we'll have to make a law about it.
I mean, the one line that I draw with this is visuals, because everybody starts buying these little covers for their computers. They put it over their front-facing cameras. Yeah. That's where I draw the line, because that makes me uncomfortable.
But you think that's
I have my laptop open on my lap right now, and the front-facing camera is facing me.
Right.
So, I mean, one of those things, it's just, I'll have a problem with the audio, and we can assume that Alexa and Google Home are listening at all times, but those kind of just help with advertising and things of that nature. But when there's people watching me and you can wave hello to your FBI agent, that's where I draw the line.
Those are just memes, man. I don't
know. I'm not sure about that.
Well, I guess
now our FBI agent is listening like, I like this Nick kid.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap up this podcast with one final game. This game is just based around ridiculous laws from across this country of ours. So today when I was sitting at work doing nothing, great day at work, I was looking up the most ridiculous law from every state in the union, and I'm going to give you guys a quick quiz. I'm going to read the law as ridiculous as it is, and I'm going to give you 3 options, and you guys can either come together as one solid unit or just individually what state you think it is. So the first one that we're going to go with: if someone bites off another person's limb, they will face no more than 20 years in prison, but no less than 1. So your options are Idaho, Rhode Island, or Iowa.
I really thought that was going to be Florida.
I thought it was going to be Florida, too.
But I'm going to go Rhode Island.
I'm going Rhode Island, too.
Going Idaho.
Well, we have 2 winners. Sorry, Condog.
There we go.
Rhode Island. So, if you're ever in Rhode Island and you bite another person's limb off...
Hope for 1 year.
Hope for 1 year. But it can't be worse than 20. Okay, moving on to things that get a little bit more absurd.
Than biting off a limb?
I mean, that should be illegal, right?
I would hope that biting off a limb everywhere is illegal. But in Rhode Island, you're only getting max 20, so I guess it's alright.
Mm-hmm.
So, this state, you cannot substitute a hunting dog for a ferret. It is illegal to substitute your hunting dog for a ferret. Your options are Alaska, West Virginia, or Tennessee.
So I was really hoping Vermont would be one of the options. I'm going, what'd you say, West Virginia, right?
West Virginia,
Yeah.
Alaska, and
I'm
Tennessee.
going West Virginia.
I'm going Tennessee.
I'm gonna go West Virginia too.
Sorry, Condog, but it's West
Really?
Virginia.
Come on!
What the hell, man?
Yeah, I mean, you're 0 for 2 as of right now. The other two are 2 for 2. Moving on. We're going to take you out to the West Coast here.
Okay.
A frog that dies during a frog jumping contest. Didn't know those were a thing, but it's part of the law.
Is it? Maybe it'll be part of the Olympics soon.
A frog that... Shout out to the first pod. A frog that dies during a frog jumping contest cannot be eaten afterwards. Your options are Washington, Oregon, and California.
Oregon.
I'm gonna go Washington.
Sorry, but you're 0 for 3.
Wow.
It's California.
California, really?
In California, apparently they hold frog jumping contests.
Okay.
And if a frog dies somehow, because, frogs jump naturally, you cannot eat the frog afterwards.
Shame.
I've been watching a lot of Suits lately. I thought I'd know my laws better. I guess I gotta do some more research.
All right, moving on to this one. This one really had my mind in a twist earlier. No one can feed garbage to pigs without first obtaining a permit. You can swap out your pig's food for trash if you intend to eat the pig afterwards.
Ew.
And
Why would
that
you
is
do
an
that?
actual law. Your options are Texas, Pennsylvania, Arizona.
Pennsylvania.
Texas.
Could be Texas.
I'm going Pennsylvania.
Sorry, but you're over 3. It
It's
is
Arizona? Really? I didn't even know they had pigs in Arizona.
In Arizona, yeah, just pigs and cactuses. That's pretty much what Arizona.
I'm not necessarily concerned with the fact that that's a law. I'm more concerned as to who would want to do that.
Yeah, why would you're like, you know what? I think we're gonna kill little Bessie tomorrow. That's a cow name. But anyway, let's just say Wilbur. Gonna kill Wilbur tomorrow. Let's feed him trash.
Let's feed them trash. All right. Well, if you're with any children, I suggest you cover their ears for a little bit because we're about to get a little spicy.
Ooh.
This next one. Oral sex is illegal in this state. Giving and receiving. A person found in violation is guilty of a misdemeanor, but the state is typically not known to enforce the law because I hope they don't see it happening. Your options are Maryland, New York, Alabama.
Maryland.
I hope it's not New
Hope
York.
it's not New York.
Um,
I'm going Maryland.
I feel like it can't be Maryland. I have to go Alabama.
It is Maryland.
Yes.
I knew it was Maryland. I knew
Dog is
that.
on the board.
I'm on the board.
All right, we'll do a couple more here before we wrap it up. This one, I mean, there's a lot of issues with this one, but we'll just rattle this one off. A man over the age of 16 cannot seduce a woman by falsely promising to marry her. However, no law exists with the gender roles reversed,
Oh,
which
wow.
is that's a discussion in
I mean,
itself.
I
I'm
thought
not
you were
get
going to
into.
stop at no man over the age of 16 can seduce a woman, and that was just going to be like the fact.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were just throwing a fact in
Okay,
there.
your options are North Carolina,
Okay.
Oklahoma, South Carolina.
Oklahoma.
That's what I got to think about here.
I'm going Oklahoma.
Once again, a man over the age of 16 cannot seduce a woman by promising to marry
I'm
her.
gonna go off the probability fact here that he's given us 2 fake ones and he gave us 2 Carolinas. So I'm gonna say that it's most likely a Carolina. So I'm gonna go with South Carolina.
I was going South Carolina, too. I'm
Noah?
going to lock in South
I went
Carolina.
Oklahoma.
Noah, I'm sorry, but the boys are right again.
What I tell you? And that's it. Noah and I are tied now.
True.
We each
I
have 2.
think Nick is running away with this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I'm at 4.
Unless he has a terrible fallout
I have
here.
3.
unless-
No, you don't.
No,
Yeah, I
don't.
do.
You got the first 2, and then we all got the next 2 wrong.
Oh, jeez.
All right, we're going to keep it a little spicy for a little bit, so plug those children's ears for a little bit longer. Fornication, also known as canoodling, is completely banned. Yes, fornication is completely banned, except for married couples.
Oh, this has got to be a southern state.
Premarital fornication, also known as premarital canoodling,
Okay.
can be punished as a misdemeanor.
What about if you're wearing socks? Are you like
Because then it
exempt
won't-
from
That
the law?
doesn't count.
It doesn't
Okay,
count.
If you're
yeah,
wearing
okay.
socks, it doesn't count.
Doesn't
Okay.
count.
Your options are Oregon, Alabama, Virginia.
It's got to be Bible Belt, but I think
I
it's
don't
I think
know.
it's Virginia. I don't think it's Alabama. I think it's Virginia.
I was like expecting like maybe a Pennsylvania in there,
The
but
Quakers? Nah.
I don't know. What were they again? Oregon, Alabama, or
Virginia.
Virginia.
I'm locking in Virginia.
I'm going Virginia as well.
I'll go Oregon.
Noah, I'm sorry, but the boys
Let's
are
go.
right again. No, you might want to start hopping on the bandwagon because it's
How many
getting cold
more of
soon.
these ridiculous laws are there?
As many as you want.
Let's do one more.
Let's get one
One
more.
more.
Which means I think I've secured the
Yeah, you have. Congratulations.
secured the bag.
Yes. We're gonna
Securing
pick
the bag is illegal in this state.
I'm gonna pick out a good one here. I actually only have a couple left, so if you guys want to see if you could come back and beat Nick, which I don't think is gonna happen.
I
'cause
think Nick's already like
I think he's.
4 ahead of me.
Let's
think
just do
he's-
one more.
let's do
I
one
think
more.
he's been on a crazy hot streak. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Every legislator, public officer, and lawyer must take an oath stating that they have never fought in a duel with deadly weapons. I repeat, if you'd like to run for
That's
public
weird
office,
because that's how the government used to work.
Yeah.
you cannot have fought with deadly weapons. Your choices are Washington, Maine, and Kentucky.
As much as I'd love to see Mitch McConnell beat someone or get beat in a duel, I think I'm gonna say Kentucky.
I was thinking, like, for some reason, Maine just popped into my head. Seems like a very passive state up there, so.
What was the other option?
Washington, Kentucky, Maine. No deadly weapons. Or duels.
I'll just go Washington.
So someone's getting it right.
Noah, I'm sorry. And Condog, I'm sorry too.
Yeah.
Nick just could not be beaten.
Wow. Nick knows his laws.
Alright, rapid fire round. Billboards are illegal.
Vermont, yeah, baby.
It's actually Hawaii.
It's both.
Is it really?
Yeah, billboards are legal in Vermont.
Oh, wow, look at that. Why is that? What do you have against billboards?
They destroy the scenery. They're disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
probably.
They destroy the maple.
Yeah.
All that maple syrup that's coming out of Vermont.
Well, that's all Vermont's got going for it, so.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
What about Ben and Jerry's?
Man.
All right,
anyway.
folks. Well, we'd like to thank you for once again listening with episode 3 of Wild Cards. Check us out and follow us on Twitter at WildCardsCast. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Peace.